Come on. Even before I was getting there. Shame my stomach ain't doing the thing of what it's supposed to. Hey beautiful, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. If you've been here before, it's your girl Farida, also known as Curly Proverbs. And around here it's no kinks, no curls and no coils left behind. We are all about Ayurveda and African inspired herbs and recipes that really help you get those hair growth gains. If you're after that thickness, that shine, that definition, we have loads of recipes on this channel and advice, DIYs, products to help you along that way. So if you're interested in that, definitely hit the subscribe button. And without further ado, let's get into today's video. Okay, so today's video is going to be a mini Q&A. I did have a post up asking for questions and there were so many really good ones that I didn't get around to. So we're going to do a quick fire-ish visit as some of the questions that you guys dropped in that community tab. Let's go. I have to give a special shout out though to Princess Tiana 98. She asked no less than 10 questions, and by the kind of questions she was asking, she just made me realize she is really invested in this channel, and I love that. They range from asking me about what I love to do, if I can have a conversation with anyone in the world, if I'm having any more kids, hobbies that I have, like, you really want to know me. Sorry, I messed up the mic. You really want to know me. So I'm going to shout you out, Tiana, for Princess Tiana 98, for being so invested in what I do here on YouTube. So let's get into your questions. We got some really good ones, to be fair. First one I have here is from All Day Every Day 2257. I nearly messed that handle up. What are your top foods and drinks for hair growth? Okay, first of all, you know I'm about that fenugreek life. Sprouted fenugreek, like in your salads, in like the food that you're cooking, is fantastic for nutrients. So if you can have it raw, it's fantastic. Also, the other thing that I find to be really good is chia seeds. I see the kind of difference that I would see when I'm having something like MSM in my nails and my hair. So definitely chia seeds. And you can just sprinkle a teaspoon in your smoothie in the morning, maybe a salad in the afternoon. And I do feel personally that I see a difference with that. Also, pumpkin seed butter is really good. But generally speaking, if you're eating a rainbow of colors and you're making sure that your fats and proteins are on point, whichever source you decide, whether it's animal or plant protein, I'm not here to debate that, but your protein and fat content, that needs to be sufficient to nourish your body and have a surplus, as well as your micronutrients as well. So a lot of the time, for example, in a typical Western diet, you can find yourself having like meat, potatoes, and a small side of veg, and maybe having 2 or 3 portions of veg in a day. But how different would the micronutrients available to your body be if you were juicing? Like a juice on its own is like one of the most nutrient dense things that you can take in, because to make a juice, you can easily put 10 pieces of fruit and veg into just that juice. And your zinc, your manganese, your iron, all that sort of stuff, folates, is really going to be through the roof, your natural biotins and stuff like that. So I would say definitely do a homemade juice, and definitely have veggie days where you challenge yourself to get full, eating loads and loads of veg, loads and loads of fruit, and then you start to gain a good habit that you can continue in the rest of your diet. Rachel Moore 2608 asked best marriage advice, and if you drink, your favorite cocktail. I do go for mocktails, to be honest with you, but a mojito, virgin mojito, is my favorite. I really hate when you go somewhere and you're looking forward to your mojito and they try and give you mint mixed with lemonade. No, I love it when you make up a real mojito for me. It's absolutely my favorite. My best marriage advice would be major on what he is doing right. Recognize what he is doing right, more than you major on what he is not doing that you would like. And I think that is really the best way to be, because you can find yourself like nagging and moaning in your head about something they haven't done because you're majoring on or focusing on that, and then they come in and just say hi and you be like, rah! And you're like, has no idea why, but it's just because you've been majoring on that. So if you major on what they do right as opposed to what they do wrong, and focus on that and think about how you really like that act of service, or that you really appreciated that he did this and that was really, really sweet of him to do this, then yeah, I think that would really benefit the relationship. And if this advice goes vice versa, same to husbands too, if you're listening. AG Friends 2307 said, what advice would you give to young people who get frustrated with their natural hair? Do you know, I've been encountering a lot of friends that have been frustrated with their natural hair. And I think the majority of the time is the length of time it takes for wash day and detangling. One of the things that I have personally been doing, because believe it or not, despite what I do, I also get frustrated with my hair, sometimes not doing what I want it to, or taking a much longer time than I would like, is I've been leaning a lot into twists and braids. Sorry if I just ruffled the mic. I've been leaning a lot into twists and braids and stepping away from wash and goes, just because of the work that comes after that particular style. So maybe lean into styles that require you to do the least work. Maybe you can protect your hair in braids and then like you're done. You don't have to think about what you're going to do. You don't have to use extensions. It can be your own hair. Also, a lot of my friends that have gotten to this point in their journey that are older, they have decided they're just going to lock their hair. They're doing sister locks, sorry, and they're doing just general locks, and they just finding the relief of like not having to like deal with detangling and stuff like that. So that could be something that you consider. But one really big part of this is I do think it is important to learn your hair and give yourself the patience and the space to have those frustrations. Okay, so yes, it's all good and well. You know, now I have learnt my hair. If there's a week where I just can't be bothered with things, I'll just put my hair into twists, right? But I've learnt my hair and I've learnt what helps to make things quicker. Try things with slip, aloe vera, okra, that kind of thing. That can really, really help with giving you shine and manageability and minimizing detangling time. I hope that helps. Princess Tiana 98, I see you, girl. You asked a load of questions. If you could sit down and have a conversation with anyone in the world, who would it be? Oh my gosh. Do you know what? I don't know. I haven't really given this a whole length of time to think about this question, but one person I have always wanted to sit down and talk to, it is like the most unexpected. His name is Charles Dowding. Here he is. He's a YouTuber. He has been a market gardener for like 40 years and he has so much wisdom and he's so chilled. Like you might think he's high in his videos. He is just high on plants. Like he is not that kind of plant, just chill. But he is high on life, and he just has so much good advice. I'd really, really love to talk with him. And another person I would really love to sit down and talk with would be somebody called Mark Bindi. She's also here on YouTube, and she gives a lot of marriage and home life wisdom. She breaks down a lot of stuff, and she's a trad wife, so I would find it so interesting to talk to her, not least because, you know, I find her views interesting, but also because, you know, I'm a Christian woman, but I also work. So it'd be really interesting to have a conversation with her. And I love a lot of the wisdom that she shares. But maybe we could talk through some of the stuff that I'm like, not so sure I resonate with that. So yeah, Mark Bindi here on YouTube. She is beautiful. I think she has sister locks at the moment. And I'd love to have an exchange with her. Mark Bindi, can you hear me? If you see this video, I would love to have an exchange with you. Like we could talk through some marriage stuff and I could talk you through some hair stuff. How about that? Okay, let's move on. Love Diarist says, beautiful queen, shining that God-given light as always. Thank you. That's a top tier compliment. That's a top tier compliment. Let's make this interesting. If you were on a desert island, what 3 products would you take with you? Love always. And thank you for being such an inspiration to so many. Thank you so much. That's a really sweet question. Now, if I was stuck on a desert island, well, I think I would be taking my henna and aloe. I would be taking my golden one oil, and I would be taking my direct leave-in and my fingers for detangling. They would be useful. So those would be the 3. Those would be the 3 that I'd be like, yeah, I can manage. As dry as it might be here, as hot as it might be here, as arid as it is, I will be good with those things. Because the particular difference I find between the golden one and the fenugreek elixir, whilst the fenugreek elixir is great for thickening and great for encouraging growth, like speeding it up, I find that the golden one is the more hydrating of the 2. Like, I mean, super hydrating. So I would be good on a desert island with that. But Catherine Miles 7260 says, what's the weirdest question you have gotten asked about hair? Let's think on that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to turn this over to you guys. Can you comment below what is the weirdest question you have had about hair? The weirdest thing I've seen about hair lately was a video on Instagram where this young lady thought that the hair grew from the inside of her head out, like maybe her brain. And that really took me aback, but I was really light-footed about passing a judgment on that, because, you know, you never know how people grow up in life and, like, you know, what they get to learn. So that was the strangest statement in a while that I've heard about hair. Oh, it makes sense though. It makes sense though. It makes sense. There you go. Does it come in? Like, when I looked at this lady, I was like, listen, maybe, okay, I know this because this is what I do, but I found it a strange question. Princess Tiana, with these questions, what has been a life-changing moment for you recently? I feel like these questions are asking for vlog content, really. A life-changing moment. Do you know what? It was going to Creation Fest, which is like a Christian music festival here in the UK. It has skateboarding, it has things for the kids, it has like foam slides, it has like great food, like stalls. Like, it was an amazing overall spot. And there was one lady who had a stall there, and she had like her Bible open, and she was journaling in her Bible in a way that I'd never seen before. Like, the artwork she was putting in there, I just felt inspired to buy like an interleaved one where I could do art. So I could write out the verses and just meditate on them. I feel like that's going to be really life-changing. So I'll let you know once the interleaved Bible arrives. What's your hair rescue go-to for dry hair? List one from your brand and one from your pantry. Oh my goodness. 2648 Patty. Is that your profile pic, sis? Because inquiring minds want to know. Wow, you are stunning. I just happened to zoom in, and I think you've used your real photo. Wow, you are a beauty indeed. I might have to introduce you to somebody I know who's looking for a wife. Where you living at, girl? I'm playing. I'm not trying to get anyone into trouble. My go-to rescue for dry hair, I would say melted shea butter. I love melted shea butter and castor oil. Those are 2 things that you can find. Okay, maybe the castor oil ain't in your pantry. But yeah, something that you might have lying around in your home would be, these are my top 3 that you might find in your home. I'm gonna be generous with it. Castor oil, shea butter, and glycerin. Like, if you put those 3 together in a mask, yeah, and like put it into your routine, that would be fantastic. Like, If you have like your usual mask that you use and you melt some shea butter, you add some castor oil and some glycerin, the glycerin actually helps you to absorb the other things into your hair. So yeah, hydration central. One item from my brand will definitely be the golden one, because it contains castor oil, but it contains a host of other things that just make it so hydrating, including carrot oil as well. It's like it's a really, really hydrating, as I mentioned before. Okay, so Flawless Honey wants to know, how do you deal with anxiety? Honestly, I feel like having a routine and having a safe space or a safe thing that you do really helps with anxiety. Personally, I don't suffer from it, but I feel like I don't suffer from it clinically, but I feel like whenever I am becoming anxious, having like my go-to activities that I do, which tends to be like reading or being in my garden with my hands in the soil, just doing something like just pruning leaves. It's like a really meditative, like repetitive process, and you kind of don't think about anything else when you're doing those things. It's something that requires your attention, like you're giving your attention to what you're doing, and it becomes meditative, so that like you become absent from your worry. And then when you have that separation, like, or personally for myself, I can speak, because like goodness knows I'm not a therapist, but when I have my separation from that thing that is giving me anxiety, and I do something else, when I come back to it, I feel like I have a lot more clarity and a lot more perspective of the issue, and how maybe it's not as big of an issue as I thought it was in the first place. So I hope that helps. Do you recommend alternating henna with protein treatments, whether strong, for example, effigy, or soft, for example, a cream protein treatment in deep conditioners? If I'm perfectly honest with you, I feel like, I used to use effigy, and when I used effigy, I had to, and I never did the two-step treatment. I just had I'm going to put a photo here of what I was using at the time. I did feel like I still needed to exercise some faith in the fact that this was actually working for me. I didn't really see the immediate strength personally. I don't know, maybe you have. But I would say that I actually found much more visible of a result using just egg as a pre-shampoo treatment. Like if you're talking about a hard protein treatment, something like egg, and I know people are going to be like, oh, the amino acid chains are too large for your hair to absorb and utilize. Listen, the strength that was whether or not it's assimilated or gets into your cuticles, okay, that'll be a discussion for another day. The strength that was imparted by a protein-rich treatment, such as just cracking open a simple egg from my fridge and mixing in a regular conditioner and a dash of oil, that was not matched. Like, it surpassed what I got from effigy. So that would be my first comment on that. And the second comment is, it's not necessary to interchange between using henna and a protein. I find that the henna and aloe mask, for example, or just having like henna mixed with a hydrating ingredient such as aloe, which you can source yourself, doesn't have to be particularly from the brand. I find that that is balanced, and I find that I can just use that on its own. And that has been the experience of quite a few people. Some people who've had like moisture overload. I've had a few comments and I've had some reviews where people have said that that balanced mask, which is a pre-blended, work perfectly for them. But I would certainly, if you wanted to use a strengthening protein treatment and henna, I would certainly not use them in the same week. I would certainly space them out and use them interchangeably. Definitely do not follow having an egg treatment with necessarily that same week having a full henna mask, for example. That would be my initial advice. So I hope that you found this video interesting. We're going to stop there. And please, guys, comment below what you need to see and what you would like to see in the next video, because I feel like I'm all out. Like, I've done the wash and goes, I've done the deep conditionings, I've done the recipes, I've done the hair growth recipes and ingredients. What would you like to see next? Comment below. And until next time, take care of yourself, okay? Bye. Okay, so this question is from Leah Tiwari. I hope I've pronounced your name correctly. Leah, you are also literally, you are MVP. You always show up, and I see you and I appreciate your support. But you asked me, who is Farida, the woman behind all that hair? Would you consider doing makeup and fashion reviews again? Listen, thank you for caring about the person behind the hair, first off. Who am I? I am... Why did I even go to this question? Because it's hard to answer. I am a woman of faith. I am a doer. I want to see change in the world, and I'm really working towards being the change I want to see in the world, even if it's one life at a time, with people that I know in my circle and with where I choose to invest my money. I am a wife. I am a mother. I am a gardener. I'm a lover of natural as opposed to chemical. There will generally be natural medicine or something that you could change in your diet that would help a long way towards any issues that you're facing with your health. I love fun. I love water sports. I love good music. That is the woman behind the hair. I think I haven't left anything important out.